Hey guys, welcome to Moonkit's tutorial. So today we're going to discuss about Python request module. So far we have discussed about Python Fast API and then Python Fast API with MongoDB integration. This video will tell you how to create an account in MongoDB and how to integrate Fast API with MongoDB. Now this one was for this one Fast API MongoDB was using path parameter, so we were sending only one parameter as a path parameter. But the next video Fast API request body was this one, where we were making use of Pydantic model and were sending the data through a complete JSON. So if we were sending more than one parameter, then we were using the request body. But every time you are not going to use Postman to trigger the job. There will be a job which will be scheduled in the scheduler, and that particular script will call Fast API to make an entry into the MongoDB. So today we will discuss about request module, how a script will connect to the server and will get the data from the server or will put the data to the server. So this is the code what we discussed in our last tutorial, which is this one. So if you want to revisit this one session, please go through it. If you don't, then no worries, I'll explain you the code in this tutorial as well. So basically this one is making use of Fast API. This var URL is making a connection in MongoDB, and then we will start the API server here, and we are making an entries into the MongoDB using this script. Now if you want to know exactly what this script does, you can visit the last lesson, which is Fast API using request body. Now let's move further. So we'll start, we'll create a new script here, Python, and we're going to name it as request.py. So let's start building our request.py. So this script will replace the Postman, because you're not going to manually trigger to send data or to get data. Now this will be a script which will be called by cron or any other scheduler, which will connect to the Fast API and will get data or will put data. So what we initially need is, we need import requests a request class, and then we're gonna import JSON. Okay, we have imported request in JSON. If you have not installed request, then what you have to do, I'm sure you guys know it, but still I'll tell you what is pip3 install and then request. So this is needed if you don't have it installed. Now let's first start the server also. So if to start the server, we need, so ubicon fast API underscore Mongo, which is the name of the script. App is an object created over here and reloaded. If you make changes over here, it will be reloaded by itself. Let's first see whether it is working or not. Control link, follow. So it is working. It is giving us hello world, which we are printing over here. So this is something which is default. If nothing is there, then it will print hello world. So if we write hello world, we are learning a request. If we save it, then we're gonna refresh it. We get this value, hello world, we are learning request. So this is the default one. If you're not doing anything, then this will be returned. Now let's write our request module. So what we're going to do is, we have a request. If it is not installed, then we can install here. So now I'll show you the magic. Request dot get, and then you will paste this URL, which is this one over here. So you got the URL in the bracket. And if I save this one and run this one, it didn't do anything, but it didn't fail either, because we are just requesting get, but we are not writing the status of it, whether it is failed or succeed. So let's see what status code we get for this one. So if you want to know the status, I'll write here response. Response is equals to request.get, or this URL, which will give us the same string what is given by this URL. And let's see if it succeeds or fail. Let's first write the status code associated with this one. So we can write response dot status code. So if this succeeds, then it will get 200 or something else. Let's see. So we got 200. So basically this URL is working. So what we have done so far is import request, import JSON. Response is calling the request.get function using the same URL over here, and here the same text we are getting with this URL, we'll get it over here. How are we gonna get it? Let's see. Now we write print, and let's write the string, the response, content is response dot content. Let's see what this gives us now. Execute. So 200 is this one, which is status code, which means successful. And then response content is B, hello world, we are learning request, which is exactly same this one. Why it has given me B? Because it gives the bytes response back. When we ask for response.content, we get the bytes response back. If you want to remove, you can remove this one as well. What we can use is we have two ways to do that. One is to use a function called let's write past and then json.loads and then response.content. Now this is parse. What it will do, it will take in a string and return a JSON object. So if I print out this parse now, let's see what response we get here. Print. We are getting past value is past. Let's see what we get here. Let's run the code. So we are getting 200, which is response.status code, and then we are getting bytes, which is response.content, and then we are getting a string here, which is hello world. See here B is written because it returns as binary, and we have changed that binary to a string by using this json.loads. Now if you really don't want to use those functions to make bytes to string, you can have you can use one more thing, which is response.text. So if I copy this part, print over here, and response content is response.text, I don't have to do all these two things like past json.loads and then print parse. So if I write here print, this is part after the XX, run this code. See, it has not returned me bytes one. So this is exactly same as what you have done here. You have make use of past and then you have printed past. We're using json.loads. Here we are just printing response.txt. So I think it gives you a better response. You don't have to do 2-3 things now. Now there are many functions, methods you can call with response. Like if you want to know the headers of the request. Now let's find out what exactly is that. Print response.headers. If I run this one, I'll get the complete details of it. Date, server, content length, content type, application JSON. So this is the result of response.headers. So far what we have done is we have import request JSON and we made use of request.get. Get is getting data from this server. Now what if I want to put data to the server so that this script can make use of that data and insert an entry into the MongoDB. Now scroll down, there is the endpoint which is ins record, and this is the data point we are using. So let's copy this JSON, paste in our script by the name of data. Let's suppose this is data. Now we'll make use of request.put this time. So response dot underscore put, you can give any name over here, then request dot put. Now we want the same URL which is over here. Let's copy this URL, paste it over here, and the endpoint was insrec. So we want this name also so that it can hit this particular endpoint. So we have the URL with that endpoint. Now we want data also, which is let's write as JSON is equals to data. Now what is this data? This data is this data now. Now we are going to make an entry of this particular data in our Mongo database using request.put. So request.get, we were getting data from the server. Request.put, we are sending this data to the server, which is this one. We are making use of endpoint insrec, which is over here. Now this will make use of author 3. This is a base model which is making use of Pydantic model. And now we are making use of this particular input data and we will make an entry into the Mongo database. Now let's go and check our Mongo database if we already have data or not. We have data over there, so let me delete this one. We are deleting this collection. It's gone. So at this moment we don't have any data. Now let's go to our code. One thing more, let's write the print status also of this one. Print response out put dot status code. So we would know whether it is success or failure. Now if we run this one, it is 200. So it means successful. So if it is success, which means it will hit this particular URL server. This is the endpoint it will hit, which is this endpoint, which is making use of author 3, which is a Pydantic model, which is you making use of base model. Here name we have hard coded. We can just write as it is like string. You can check my previous video to know what exactly these things are, what I'm explaining you over here. This has a better detail in the previous video. Now when we run this one, we got 200 exit code, which is status code 200 means successful. So now if we go to our Mongo, there should be a data over there. If we refresh it, yes, we got the data. See, Stefan learned Pydantic and this number of pages and date of publishing is over here. So let's try to make one more entry, which is Aman, and learn a request. So now if we run this code, then this Mongo database will have another entry. At this moment we have only one entry, and when we run this one, another entry will be created. We are running this one. Status code is again 200. If we refresh this one, we will have two entries. One is Aman learn request. So now what we have learned today is we don't use Postman in during live projects. We only use it manually when we want to send data or receive data. So we have actually replaced this Postman today with our script request.py, which made use of request import classes, and we have made use of the get and put functions. So these get is getting data from the server, this put is submitting data or sending data to the server, and once you receive the data, then you can print data or you can insert data into the Mongo database. So which part is inserting is this part is inserting, which is my call insert one. If you want more details on this one, how it is inserting, please look this particular video. I'll provide you all the URLs for this video, and I hope you learned today about request.py. Please like and subscribe our channel. If you want me to make another video of any of your own choice, give me a topic, I'll make a video for you and I'll upload it. Okay guys, see you in the next video. Thank you.